Today marks 1292nd day. Share lessons I learn and continue to learn with all of you. I hope these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I was thinking about inner peace. Inner peace is essential in everything. I think that the inner peace is success in life. Being able to have that peace, joy, meaning. I think it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You could be going through the storm, but you have inner peace. And that's why I think that inner peace is something that you're supposed to strive for. And I was thinking, what are the path to inner peace? What are the path to inner peace? And I think that one of the key aspects, one of the foundational things in inner peace is surrender. Surrender. I think that a lot of times when you think about surrender, I think about war. That surrender means a bad thing because you just give up. But when I think about internal world, surrendering is probably one of the most beautiful things that you can do. Because when you look into definitions of surrender, true surrender is a beautiful word. So I will read a couple of the definitions of surrender, and I truly believe that that's a true definition of surrender. Surrender is the inner transition from resistance to acceptance, from denial to presence, from illusion to truth. How beautiful it is! From denial to presence, from resistance to acceptance, from illusion to truth. I think that is exactly what surrender means. Being able to accept where you're at without really resisting that. Because I think that one of the biggest reasons why people stuck in one location, in one environment, in one income level, in one health level, is because they resist the current situation. They hate, they hate themselves. They hate their situation. They deny their station and they stuck in the same moment. But when you surrender, the surrender is the first, most important step to really change everything in your life. And I'm going to read other ones. So, what is surrender? What is not? So, surrender is not giving up. Surrender is not becoming passive. Surrender is not accepting injustice. Surrender is not abandoning responsibility. But what surrender is, accepting the truth at this moment. Releasing what you cannot control. Trusting that life will unfold the way how it's supposed to unfold when you're really taking the action. And making space for grace, wisdom, and aligned action. That is what surrender is. I think that is a beautiful thing. And then we need to really look into even more what that surrender is. So let's look into other definitions. Surrender is conscious, courageous act of releasing resistance to what's internally, externally, so that you may meet life, yourself, and the present moment with full acceptance, humility, and clarity. It's not collapse of effort, but the redirection of energy from control to trust, from force to flow, from fear to truth. Again, such a beautiful definition of surrender. It's conscious and courageous act of releasing resistance. I think that we need to look into that. Are we consciously, courageously acting in accordance with our values, in accordance with our beliefs? And maybe we need to really courageously change those beliefs, those sabotaging beliefs. I have a couple more really great definitions. Surrender is the moment when you stop denying, suppressing, or fighting reality, and instead allow it to be seen, felt, integrated without judgment. Again, so when you stop denying or suppressing or fighting reality. And the last one that I want to mention is surrender is the ego's soft death. A return to your true nature as awareness itself. It's yielding the false self needs to dominate and aligning with the deeper intelligence of life, love, or God, as you understand it. I think it's such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful definition of surrendering. And I want to really look into what we're able to do to really surrender, because I think that's, as I shared, acceptance is the first level of changing, improving, getting better. Even though, like, we understand that when we are living life, sometimes it could be a terrible life, sometimes it could be a good life, and sometimes we can be stuck in a good life, and sometimes we're not accepting that we have a good life. And that means not accepting that we have a good life, not great. At that moment, we're able to really release that prison of good life and really pursue a great life. And even great life could be exceptional life when we accept where we are and surrendering that. I think that is very, very important. And I truly believe that every single person deserves exceptional life. But not every single person will do the necessary steps to really achieve that exceptional life. So what we need to really understand, what every single person needs to understand about surrendering. So number one, surrender is not giving up. Surrendering is not giving up. It's waking up. It's not a defeat. Because we need to really say to ourselves, I will stop resisting what is so I can respond wisely to what's real. Because I think that one thing that's the most common mistake is that when we have a vision for lives, we need to really design clear action steps to achieve that vision. But if we do not accept where we currently are, we're not able to create a great plan, because you know that in Google Maps, when you choose destination, the next second step is choosing where you currently are. And then, of course, Google could direct where to go. Exactly as it is in our lives. When we surrender and we know exactly where we presently are, internally, externally, we're able to create a plan of how to get to that vision, to that exceptional life. And that's why it's very important to stop resisting and really accepting and surrendering. And of course, after that, when we surrender, we're able to really get back everything what we want. Resistance is a prison. Acceptance is a power. Resistance is a prison. I think that we need to understand that when we resist, the thing that we resist is our prison. So being able to really remove that resistance and we go through it, I think that is the best way to really look into life. Because the things that you're avoiding the most likely is the things that could potentially move you from a terrible life to good life, or from good life to great life, or from great life to exceptional life. So what things are you avoiding? I think that every single person has something to avoid. And I think that every single person has demons. Every single person has something that maybe they still need to heal from. Maybe there is one person who doesn't need to do, but I think that 99% of people are people who really have something to work on. And that's why there is such a different levels in understanding and wisdom and wealth and health, because every single person needs to have some demons to really to surrender to make sure that we're able to really move in life. Surrender is the beginning of transformation. I already mentioned that surrender is the beginning of transformation. And sometimes you can ask, okay, why I'm not growing? What is the reason that I'm stuck in? Did you surrender your current place? Did you surrender all the things that you are not able to control? Did you surrender that? And if not, if the answer is not, I think that this is the first place to start. Really being able to accept where you are. But it's hard. It's hard. You potentially hate where you're at. You hate your station. How are you supposed to accept that situation? How are you supposed to surrender to this nonsense? It's hard to fit in your head. Surrendering to the thing that you do not like, if you like, in a terrible station. But being able to accept that this is my life right now. This is it. This is, I cross the line. I put my foot to the ground. Like, this is it. I know that my life is this way. I need to change it. So being able to really look directly into the mirror, I think that this is one the very important understanding is that you need to understand exactly where you're at. That's awareness. It's not just that sometimes you need to accept your reality, but you need to be extremely aware. But when you surrender, that surrender gives you massive clarity and awareness. And I think that is one of the shortest way to understand. Okay, I'll look into, I accept it, and let's move it. Accept is not to really to stop you from doing something. No, acceptance is the first step of making things happen. And surrender requires deep trust. You need trust in your resilience, because when you accept it, this is my situation, but I know that I have resilience, I have skills, I have intelligence, I have wisdom to really remove myself now from that situation. So that means you need to trust yourself. So surrender is the ability to trust yourself, because you surrender to that moment. You accept that moment. You know that this moment will be just for short season of life, because you are resourceful, you are resilient, you have the mindset, I will work until I will get what I need. And the union means you stop arguing with life. That means that when you think about surrendering is union between reality and illusion. That means sometimes we need to really bring them together, because we have an illusion that everything is okay. But reality is not that beautiful as illusion. So when we unite them, we start to see that, okay, I'm able to really bring life to present moment. Because surrendering, again, one of the beautiful things is that 80% of our life is supposed to be in the present. Sometimes we need to reflect on the past, sometimes we need to look into the future, but most of our lives needs to be in the present moment. So surrendering is, again, one of the shortcuts to presence. So when you're present moment, in the present moment, you're able to take aligned actions to really move to that exceptional life. It's an interesting topic. And then I probably will finish with one sentence, is that surrender is a sacred art of saying yes to reality, not because you like it, but because you no longer want to live at war with it. I will repeat more. That's such a powerful. Surrender is a sacred art of saying yes to reality, not because you like it, but because you no longer want to live at war with it. Such a powerful thing. I hope you reflect as well. Because I said there's so many areas of life. It could be finances, it could be health, it could be spirituality, it could be emotions. Like, what are the areas that you might be not proud of? Maybe you can ask, maybe there's something that I'm resisting. Maybe I need to something that I need to surrender. Maybe there's small things. Because when you're able to resist those, to surrender on small things, then you're able to expand on bigger things as well. So I hope you just win, and see you tomorrow.